Hey everybody, this video is about digital annotation tools. Some of us, this is a huge part of our classrooms where we're frequently using paper and highlighters or pens to annotate and have students kind of hold their thinking. And with the transition to remote learning, that is still an important skill that we need to work on, so we need digital solutions for that. Today we're going to talk about two solutions because honestly I don't have one that does everything that I want it to. In fact, even these two combined don't do everything that I want them to, so we're going to have to kind of make do with these. Part of the reason that we're restricted is that I'm working in a district where the Chromebooks are managed by the district. So that means that students can't install any Google Chrome plugin that they want. They have to work from an approved list. And getting new extensions to be added to that list can be a pretty lengthy bureaucratic process. So we're going to work with the constrictions that we have, and that is the approved list. So both of these that we're going to talk about today are, they're both on that list. The first one is called Evernote, and I'm going to show you how to get to it. I'll put the link to the Google Chrome extension in the description of the video. But you can access your extensions this way once you've installed it. So we'll go to Extensions, Evernote Web Clipper, it'll load it up, and there are a few options here. The top three are pretty similar, but I'll explain why they're important. So I do an extended essay with my students, and it can be a process of several months. And as they're gathering research, students will often find a source that they really love and they'll bookmark it, and then they'll try to go back to it 4 months later and they find that that link is broken, or they no longer have access, or something has changed. This solves that problem. So if they will clip the full page, it'll save an offline version of that, and then they won't ever have to worry about losing it. So that's a nice feature, but it doesn't allow you to annotate, which is what I'm looking for in this video. So we're going to go instead to screenshot. This is pretty limiting because it doesn't take the whole page, it just takes a little section. But I can just select an area, so I can click to capture the full page. Now it's not the full web page, it's just the full view of what I see now. So I don't want that. Instead I will click and drag. So I'll click and drag, and the part in the lighter area is the area it's going to grab. Then I'll release, and it adjusts to be like this. Now, I don't know if this is going to happen with you, but for me there's a weird bug where it's defaulting to the arrow. You can see that on my cursor, there's a little arrow just above the crosshairs, even though the highlighter tool is selected. And so it's not quite working right. So if I go here and then back to highlighter, then the highlighter works for whatever reason. So there's a highlighter people can use, and they can just highlight certain parts of the image. There's an arrow. You can use a marker. You can change the color here, and you can crop if you decide you want a smaller section than you initially grabbed. These are zoom buttons. Stamps, these are pretty specific, like certain like gestures or feelings, almost like reactions on social media or something, but you can use them. And then there's text. So we just click wherever we want it to go and type text in there to hold our thinking. This is a weird one, but it's kind of fun. Excuse me, it's called Pixelate, and you can kind of select an area that you want to blur out. It seems silly at first because it looks like you're, I don't know, blurring out drug paraphernalia or something, but it actually can be a useful feature if you're trying to de-emphasize part of the picture. It's a nice kind of, it's almost like negative space in art. Like all of these other things provide emphasis, but this could provide de-emphasis, which could be helpful. And then, like I said, this just changes the colors. These here are organization tools, so you can have different notebooks that you save in Evernote. Students can have a class that belongs to, or a notebook that belongs to just one class. And you can also add tags, which can help things to be searchable and things if you get a lot of information in Evernote. And finally, you can add a remark, which is just kind of thinking that you're going to hold that isn't on the image itself, but you do want to keep. Again, this would be helpful with like the extended essay where a student says like, this supports my argument about gentrification, blah, blah, blah. And then they could just kind of remember that way what they were thinking about this resource. And then when you're done, you just hit Save Clip. And it's going to take a minute to sync. We can click View in Evernote. And I really only have this one that I just did, but you can see it here. You can also add, it's kind of nice, in this notebook I can just keep like a running total. I can adjust this, I can add other thoughts in there, and there are formatting options above. So that's nice, and then I can, like I said, this is all in that first notebook, but we can add a new note or a new notebook, different types of notes to do, all that kind of stuff. So some nice features here. Definitely still some limits, but I will show you one other option here. And let me just make sure. Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to show you there. All right, so let's close that, and let's go to Kami. Kami is another it's another Chrome extension that is on our Thompson School District approved extensions list, so students can get this. This one takes a little bit more work from the teacher up front. Evernote, the student can drive; they can take it wherever they want to in the browser. But Kami, the teacher has to upload, or the student has to open a file. It doesn't just work with any browser. So I'm in Kami right now. Excuse me. And again, it's the same kind of thing where you can just go to the extension, but when you click Kami, it doesn't just open it over your web page. It opens a new page, and you have to decide what file you're going to annotate. So you can open from Google Drive, you can upload one from the computer, or you can just open a blank page. This is more for teachers if you want to use this as a starting place for the Google Classroom assignment. But I'll go to this one that I already have open, and I just pulled a PDF. This is an excerpt from the subject guide for an IB class that I teach, and you just open a new file by clicking this and then browsing for it. So I have my PDF open, and then I have all these other annotation tools here. I'm not going to demonstrate all of those for the sake of time, but it's pretty intuitive. And when you're done with it, you can print it, or you can share it, download it, save it, all these different options. Yeah, that's about it. So this one is, I would say, more limited, but it's great for PDFs. It's great for keeping it all kind of self-contained and maybe more portable, where you can print it or share it easily, whereas Evernote is more for you. Yeah, just a different way of using the whole deal. Okay, and then you can still share this. I meant to mention that. You can still share this by hitting share here, or you have some other options. But if you want to share it, students can share this for an assignment or whatever. They can just click share, make a shareable link, share the link, or invite someone over email. But not quite as portable, not quite as easy to use when you're talking about moving things as Kami. All right, sorry for the clumsiness of that video. I feel like it was kind of clumsy, but I feel like it's partly because none of these things totally do exactly what I want them to, but hopefully with the features that I've shared with you, you'll at least be able to do what you need to for kids learning in the coming semester. Best of luck.